Hi all. Today I'm going to be talking about visual perception and storytelling and its effect on human cognition and emotion. The jobs of filmmakers, editors, and directors solely relies on how we as humans understand and react to a story. There are so many little overlooked aspects in a visual story that can be crucial in determining the success of a project. Luckily for you, I'm here to tell you some of the things that creators focus on to ensure the best viewer experience. Visual elements are what guide and direct the viewer's attention. Two of these elements are color and contrast. They attract the eye because they create visual interest, and because of this, elements like these have the ability to reinforce an idea if used properly. Composition is another one of these elements and is arguably one of the most important. How a scene is composed is essentially how the visual information is arranged within the frame. By utilizing some of the rules of composition, it should help amplify the message and make it easy to follow. The rule of thirds involves using equally spaced lines from a 3x3 grid when capturing a shot or image. On the points of the intersecting lines is where people or objects of interest are commonly placed. Using this widely renowned technique draws the viewer's eyes into the composition rather than only at the center and ensures a more visually pleasing experience. Filling the frame is another rule of composition that is imperative when it comes to keeping the viewer engaged. In order for them to comprehend what they are seeing properly, it's best to avoid distractions that are not part of the aesthetic. Filling the frame allows you to simplify it so that your viewers can focus. Using leading lines is another way to automatically bring the viewer's attention to something on screen. Leading lines act as a guide for our eyes and can be used to place emphasis and draw connections between scene elements. This method makes it extremely easy for viewers to perceive exactly what the creators want them to see. The Gestalt theory is the idea that the human brain will attempt to simplify and break down images that consist of many elements and subconsciously organize the parts to create a whole. This theory includes its own set of rules to follow as well, known as the Gestalt principles. Some of these principles include similarity, closure, continuation, and symmetry. Well-crafted stories use the principles of visual perception to enhance the viewer's memory retention on what they have watched. Memorable scenes or images can leave a lasting impression on people and make it easier for them to recall moments from the film or video. The human brain processes and remembers visual information much easier than textual information, which is one of the reasons why so many messages are delivered through videos, images, and infographics. Attention to visual cues like color, depth, motion, and contrast can also influence cognitive processing, making sure viewers can perceive and remember key information. The pacing and timing of visual elements has a direct impact on the audience's perception of time. Visual techniques like slow motion and fast cuts allow the editor to fit a lot of information into one scene, or vice versa, and drag out the emphasis instead. These techniques enhance cognitive processing and impact the viewer's emotional investment in the film. Separately from its effect on cognition, visual perception affects emotion all the same, and filmmakers can use that to their advantage to help drive engagement from their audience. Visual elements contribute significantly to the emotional impact of a story, and those like facial expressions and body language can make a scene much more touching and impactful. Visual details, including framing and shot types, play a huge role in evoking emotion within an audience. Close-ups are shot types that are commonly used to display the facial expressions and feelings of the characters on screen. The way that a scene is framed can control the audience's eyes and make it clear what they should be focusing on. Visual elements like color and lighting are there to help convey the vibe or atmosphere of the scene or shot. These elements are extremely important because they have the capability to set the emotional tone of the story or that part of it. For example, this is a character from the MCU whose power is created upon rage and anger. According to Plutchik's theory of emotion, there are 8 basic primary emotions. All others are simply a combination of these emotions or derived from them. Based on what color is on screen, the audience can get a sense of what type of scene they're about to see and what mood to expect. Coloration and lighting essentially work hand in hand, and it is hard for one to succeed without the other. Lighting is used to enhance these colors, create depth, and most importantly, support the story's mood and aesthetic. When combined together, visual elements like these can evoke emotion from the audience and alter the intensity within the scene. One of the best ways to increase emotion in the scene is to put the viewer in the eyes of the character. This enables your audience to become more attached to that character and feel empathy for them. These POV shots grant an illusion of access to the character's inner life that keeps viewers emotionally invested. The use of symbolism is another principle of visual perception that can make an audience emotionally resonate with an aspect of the film. When interpreting the symbolism through scenes, the viewer is continuously learning and growing more engaged. When an audience notices something that has a hidden meaning relating back to a prior scene or episode, it often brings satisfaction that they were able to catch something many others might not have. Visual metaphors typically convey abstract concepts, something to make the story more thought-provoking. They're commonly used for the viewer to question reality and question what they view and accept as the norm. Visual perception is directly linked to how we process, interpret, and engage with visual storytelling from a cognitive and emotional standpoint. As humans, we all perceive visuals in essentially the same way, which is why there are widely followed rules that help cater to what our minds want to see. How the audience interprets a video or image corresponds directly with the success of that project, which is why it's no surprise that filmmakers know how to keep us invested.